The Red Bull garage is facing serious internal questions, especially surrounding Yuki Tsunoda. With performances slipping and rivals stepping up, the pressure is on. Could this be the end of Yuki's time in the Red Bull program? Is a new teammate for Max Verstappen on the horizon? In this video, Yuki Tsunoda's latest spell with Red Bull is becoming one of the most challenging times in his career. The Japanese driver, who was once touted as a star in waiting, is now struggling against both expectation and pressure of performance. In spite of Red Bull reassurances that Tsunoda will be kept in his seat until the end of the season, the situation could well be more explosive. We know how Red Bull works. Contracts and words don't always guarantee long-term stability. History suggests that a drop in form can lead to hasty decisions. Tsunoda's case is looking more troubling by the day. His performances in recent races have been unimpressive. He's been unable to keep up with the form required of a Red Bull-backed driver, and the figures aren't misleading. Conversely, young hot prospect Isack Hadjar has exceeded expectations. The junior driver has accrued more points over the past 2 weekends alone than Red Bull Racing and Visa Cash App RB drivers have collectively mustered so far this season. It is only natural, therefore, that rumors would start circulating. Might Hadjar be set to make the move into the second Red Bull drive? Might Max Verstappen have his third teammate by the time 2025 arrives? These aren't crazy speculations. They're grounded in performance figures, insider rumors, and the obvious trend Red Bull has built up over time. And this isn't just a Tsunoda thing. It's about how Red Bull assesses talent, manages its driver roster, and reacts to adversity in the middle of the year. Let's go back to the Spanish Grand Prix in Barcelona. Tsunoda qualified last on pure pace, P20. It wasn't a mechanical problem or an unfortunate incident. It was unadulterated underperformance. Even without Verstappen taking a 10-second time penalty and Lance Stroll not being able to race, Tsunoda couldn't take advantage. No points. No steam. Just questions. This is not the first time we have witnessed the second Red Bull car lagging behind expectations. The RB21 seems to be a car suited for Verstappen's driving style. Anyone else outside of that mold fails to get its full potential. Even considering that, Tsunoda's gap is hard to defend. The second seat at Red Bull has always had its own level of expectation. Since Daniel Ricciardo departed, the position has been something of a revolving door. Gasly, Albon, Perez, all of whom were subject to unprecedented pressure. Now Tsunoda is in that same troubled environs. Team boss Christian Horner has been reticent on the matter. When pushed for a response on Tsunoda's future, he said in a diplomatic way, "I think I'm going to have to take a leaf out of Bria's book and say I don't want to answer it." That's not quite a vote of confidence. Nevertheless, Horner did not write Tsunoda off entirely. He noted that Yuki has provided glimpses of talent, picking up points from a pit start, making Q3, and exhibiting raw pace. Horner emphasized the significance of confidence in F1 cars nowadays. In his opinion, once Tsunoda gets the right setup and gains confidence in the car, results may follow. However, time is something Red Bull cannot spare for long. This raises a larger question. Does Red Bull care about the second seat nearly as much as it should? With Verstappen consistently overperforming and bringing in championships, has the team become lax about who gets to pair him? Isack Hadjar is young and fairly inexperienced at the highest level, yet has displayed maturity and speed that can't be dismissed. And he's not an isolated example. Red Bull's pool of talent boasts Liam Lawson, who stepped in well in 2023 and almost won himself a full season seat. But even Lawson suffered once pitted into the RB21. This highlights another major issue, the car itself. The RB21 appears to be designed almost entirely to Verstappen's tastes. And why not? He's the defending champion and the team's undeniably #1 driver. But this puts any second driver at nearly impossible odds to produce at a high level consistently without copying Verstappen's singular style of driving. That sets up a vicious circle. New drivers are measured against Verstappen's standard, but without a car that is adapted to them, their failure is predetermined. That begs the strategic question. Should Red Bull spend money creating a car to fit around a second driving style? Or do they settle for the second seat being an ancillary role, come what may? The answer might be determined by what transpires in 2026. The future regulation changes will have a dramatic impact on the performance equation. Red Bull may not retain its dominant position, and the team might realize that it will require 2 world-class performers rather than 1. That makes the decision of Verstappen's teammate much more important. This is where pilots such as Hadjar, Lawson, and even the veterans such as Ricciardo become relevant again. Each has a different value proposition. Hadjar is the future, Lawson is the reliable backup, and Ricciardo is the experienced one. But each also carries risks. They either have low mileage, consistency issues, or have not performed in Red Bull returns prior. Yuki Tsunoda, despite all his recent woes, has come a long way since entering F1. His karma on the radio delivers moments of measured aggression and is considerably less mistake-prone than in his first season. Red Bull might think if that learning and development supersedes short-term performance. Red Bull internal politics also come into play. Decisions do not get made strictly on performance. Sponsorship, marketability, and team chemistry play roles. Tsunoda has commercial value with Honda's support and is very popular in Japan. Red Bull's contract with Honda, despite the eventual return to Ford, is still in place, and dropping Tsunoda might jeopardize that relationship. On the contrary, Red Bull is a performance-based team. If the statistics continue to indicate a definite gap, the management might be compelled to do something. At present, the second seat is uncertain. Each race, each qualifying session, and each lap is under scrutiny. The next several months will determine. Red Bull will have to assess whether Tsunoda is worth the continued investment or if it's time to usher in a new era with fresh talent. Meanwhile, Tsunoda must respond, not just with words or promises, but with consistent on-track results. We may soon see one of Red Bull's most dramatic driver shakeups in recent years. Will Yuki Tsunoda survive the storm, or is Red Bull already eyeing his replacement? Time will tell, but experience indicates it's wise to remain prepared for change when it comes to the second Red Bull seat. With Red Bull coming under increasing scrutiny for its driver lineup, one thing is certain: no seat is ever really secure. Will Yuki Tsunoda step up to the plate, or has the next chapter already been penned? Tune in for more F1 drama, analysis, and behind-the-scenes action. Like, share, and subscribe to catch every turn of events in the world of Formula One.